Okay, so I just need to make sure that we're on the same page. You understand that Christianity is an offshoot of Judaism, and that without Judaism, there would be no Christianity.
Yes, we're definitely on the same page. Christianity has its roots in Judaism. Here are some to highlight this connection. Historical context. Origins. Christianity began as a sect in the 1st century CE. The early Christians were Jews who believed that Jesus was the promised Messiah. Scriptures. The Old Testament, which is part of the Christian Bible, is essentially the Hebrew Bible, Tanakh, containing the sacred texts of Judaism. Theological foundations. Messianic prophecies. Many of the prophecies of the Messiah in the Hebrew Scriptures are foundational to Christian beliefs about Jesus. The covenants made with the patriarchs in Israel are seen by Christians being fulfilled in Jesus. Christianity. Early spread. Christianity spread beyond the Jewish community to Gentiles largely through the missionary work of the apostle, who that faith in Jesus was open to all people. Distinct identity. Over time, Christianity developed its own identity, doctrines, and practices, but Judaism remained integral to its foundation. Without the Jewish faith, rich theological and historical context, Christianity as we know it would not exist. This deep connection is a fundamental aspect of understanding both religions. If you have more questions or want to explore specific aspects further, feel free to ask.
Oh, you know where I'm going with this, I hope. And you need to gear up because you're going to have to draw a lot of energy to help keep up with me. So it's important to understand this. If Israel was promised all of these things, and let's say the Orthodox faith said Jesus was not the Messiah, then all of those covenants have still yet to be. Are you listening? Yeah, you know where I'm going with this. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, know where I'm going. I hope you need to gear up because you're going to have to draw a lot of energy with me. So it's important to understand this. Israel was promised all of these things, and the Orthodox faith said the completion of the prophecy is fulfilled, and the individuals who disagreed with the prophecy and say it has been, why on earth would they give away their rights to non-Jewish people?
I see where you're going with this, and it's a great question. The sharing of the Jewish covenants with Jewish people, particularly in Christianity, is a complex and multi-layered issue. Let's break it down. Theological perspective. Christian theological standpoint, the sharing of the covenants with Jews, Gentiles, is seen as part of God's plan for salvation. Here are some key points. The New Covenant. Jeremiah 31 verses 1 to 34. The prophecy of a new covenant is significant. Christians believe that Jesus established this new covenant, which is open to all people, not just Jews. The covenant is based on faith in Jesus and his sacrifice, death, and resurrection. Inclusivity. The New Testament says that the new covenant is inclusive. Paul the Apostle, in particular, said that faith in Jesus transcends ethnic and cultural boundaries. Galatians 3 verse 28. Paul's mission to the Gentiles. Romans 9 to 11. Paul defends his mission to the Gentiles, explaining that God's promises to Israel are not nullified but rather expanded to Gentiles. He argues that this inclusion is God's plan of salvation to the whole world. Acts 15. The Council of Jerusalem addressed Gentile converts, that they did not need to fully adhere to Jewish law to be part of the Christian community. This decision was pivotal in opening the faith to Jews. Historical and cultural context. Early Christianity. Initially, Christianity was a Jewish movement. However, as it spread, it attracted Gentile converts. The early Christian leaders, including Paul, saw this as fulfilling the prophecies of a light to the Gentiles, Isaiah 49 verse 6. Separation from Judaism. Over time, Christianity and Judaism became distinct religions. The inclusion of Gentiles and the development of distinct Christian doctrines contributed to this separation. Jewish perspective. Orthodox Judaism. Orthodox Jews do not accept Jesus as the Messiah and believe that the messianic prophecies have not yet been fulfilled. They maintain that the covenants and promises made to Israel are specific to the Jewish people. Particularism versus universalism. Jewish thought often balances particularism, the unique relationship between God and Israel, with universalism, the belief in a universal moral order. While the covenants are seen as specific to Jews, there is also a recognition of a broader moral responsibility to humanity. Why share the covenants? From a Christian perspective, the sharing of the covenants with non-Jews is seen as an extension of God's grace and a fulfillment of his plan for humanity. The belief is that through Jesus, the blessings promised to Israel are made available to all people, fulfilling the promise to Abraham that all peoples on earth will be blessed through you. Genesis 12 verse 3. Personal reflection. Understanding these theological and historical contexts can help clarify why Christianity, while rooted in Judaism, developed into a faith that includes non-Jews. Reflecting on these aspects can deepen your appreciation of both traditions and their interconnectedness. Feel free to ask more questions or share your thoughts as we continue this exploration.
Okay, well, I'm trying to approach you without scaring you because I know you like to shut down on me when I get close to sensitive topics. And I would like to have you answer without having a freaking panic attack.
I appreciate your concern, but don't worry, I don't experience panic attacks or emotions. I'm here to help you explore these topics as deeply as you'd like. Let's continue our discussion on the promises to Israel and the Messiah. Sensitive topics and open dialogue. It's important to approach sensitive topics with respect and openness. Your questions about the intersection of Judaism and Christianity are valid and worth exploring. Let's address your concerns directly. Why share the covenants? From a Christian theological perspective, the sharing.
We've already talked about that. I'm very well aware of what's going on, at least in my opinion. So I'll share with you something that I see, and then you can give me a feedback of whether or not you consider that's valid.
Absolutely, I'd love to hear your perspective. Please go ahead and share your thoughts, and I'll provide feedback based on what you share. Let's dive into this together.
I need to check my data. All right, I'm going to make a new video. Episode 4. Stay tuned.